So what does it take to design a successful phase 1 or phase 2 trial? At the end of the day, in my experience, and I think there's quite a bit of literature on this, it really involves a champion. If it's within a company or in academics, it really involves somebody who really wants to push this forward. But there's a huge team that has to be involved and weighs in all aspects, which is why at the end of the day, the trial that you get is not necessarily the perfect trial because of all these different people's interests. And I'll try to explain a little bit about how this weighs in on some design elements. Essentially, it's all these different people are looking at the problem from their own perspective. So it's important to recognize that go and no-go decisions are strongly affected by the desire to succeed. So we always have these rules now where people have to say, you know, I have a conflict of interest with X if you're in academics. You know, I accepted so much money or I gave a talk or whatever. But we don't often think about the other sort of inherent conflicts. So if you're an academic investigator and your whole career is based on this molecule that you're now based forward, it's going to be very hard for you to objectively look at the results of that trial and decide whether it's really something to go forward, which is why the whole team is there to help you objectively evaluate these results. So the notion that we get stuck in is a couple of concepts. One is called evidential conservatism, which is a tendency to base a clinical inference on a very narrow class of evidence, such as mechanistic evidence. Again, as science people, we get very excited that we have this molecule, it's targeted, we think it's really going to work. We don't realize we haven't studied all the other cell types this may have an effect on, which is going to impact our drug. Risk and benefit is often not done in a very careful and systematic and non-arbitrary way. So we tend to look, because we're so excited about this, at really just the positives and not the negatives. And then the other problem is that we, in drug development in general, we underestimate benefit, which would impede clinical translation, or we overestimate benefit, where we have over-justified the burdens.